You got the raise. You open the brokerage account. You're buying index funds every month like you're supposed to, and you're still losing money quietly every single month. Not because you're doing anything wrong, because you're doing it in the wrong order. There's a specific sequence to building wealth. Most people skip straight to step 4. And there's one account almost nobody in their 20s knows exists. Tax-free in, tax-free while it grows, tax-free out. The most powerful savings tool in the entire US tax code. But it won't save you if you're skipping what comes first. The exact sequence. Step by step. Stay with me. At least one of these steps is something you're currently skipping. Here's what nobody tells you when you're 27 and trying to figure out what to do with your money. The order in which you put your money to work matters more than which fund you pick or how you invest. Get this sequence right, and you save yourself tens of thousands of dollars over your lifetime. Get it wrong, and it doesn't matter how disciplined you are. You'll keep running in place without knowing why. Today, we're walking through the exact order. Step by step, no fluff. And I promise, at least one of these steps is something you're currently skipping. Stay with me, because there's one account most people in their 20s and 30s have never even heard of, and it might be the most powerful tax tool in the entire US tax code. But first, the mistake that silently guarantees you lose, no matter how much you earn. Before $1 goes into any investment account, you need to face something. If you're carrying high interest debt, credit cards, store cards, anything above roughly 8%, your real net worth isn't zero, it's negative. And investing while you're in that hole isn't bold, it's mathematically guaranteed to lose. Say you've got $5,000 on a credit card at 22% interest, making minimum payments. Over 5 years, you'll burn nearly $2,800 in interest alone. Meanwhile, the market averages around 10%, maybe 7 to 8% after taxes. Every dollar you throw at that 22% debt is a guaranteed 22% return. You cannot find that in the market without taking risks that could wipe you out. The strategy is called the debt avalanche. List every debt by interest rate, highest to lowest. Pay minimums on everything. Throw every extra dollar at the top. Relentless focus. Debt doesn't just cost you interest. It costs you control. When you owe money, you're afraid to ask for a raise, afraid to take a career risk, afraid to say no to a job you hate. Paying it off is a psychological unlock, not just a financial one. Even while doing this, never skip your employer's 401k match. If you earn $60,000 and your employer matches 50% up to 6% of your salary, that's $1,800 in free money every year, just for showing up. If you're not taking it, you're turning down a $1,800 raise. Contribute enough to get the full match, then go back to destroying debt. Debt's gone, you feel unstoppable. This is exactly where most people blow it, and it has nothing to do with picking the wrong stocks. Here's the trap every new investor falls into. Debt's cleared, money's freed up, they head straight to the market. Many new investors drop out within the first couple of years. Not because the market failed them, because life happened. Car broke down, medical bills showed up. Every dollar was invested, so they sold at a loss to cover it. Loss locked in. Compounding broken. Picture two investors with the same income, same monthly amount. Investor A puts everything in the market. Investor B keeps $10,000 in a high-yield savings account earning 4%. The market drops 25%. Happens every few years. And both lose their jobs the same week. Investor A sells at the bottom. That loss is permanent. Investor B doesn't touch the portfolio, waits, recovers completely. Cash isn't a bad investment when it's doing its real job, keeping you from selling at the worst possible moment. 3 months of bare bones expenses, rent, food, utilities, transport, that's the number. High yield savings account, automated transfer, then ignore it. Strictly for emergencies. If this is already changing how you think about money, hit subscribe. We break this stuff down every week. Now, the part that separates people who save from people who actually build wealth. And most people in their 20s and 30s are getting this completely wrong. Most people skip straight to a regular brokerage account here, and that's leaving serious money on the table. 2 identical investors, identical funds, identical returns, one in a Roth IRA, one in a taxable account. After 30 years, the taxable investor hands 15 to 20% of their gains to the IRS every time they sell. The Roth investor keeps every dollar tax-free if used correctly. Same strategy, completely different outcome, just because of where the money lives. The order works like a waterfall. First, your 401k up to the employer match, always. Then, max out a Roth IRA. For most people in their 20s and 30s, the Roth often makes sense because you're in a lower tax bracket now than you will be later. You pay taxes on the seed, not the harvest. After that, and this is the account almost nobody in their 20s knows exists, if you have an HSA-eligible health plan, max out your health savings account. It's the only account in the entire US tax code that's triple tax advantaged. Deduction going in, tax-free growth while invested, tax-free withdrawals for medical costs. Max it for 30 years at 7% return, and you end up with over $400,000, completely tax-free, for healthcare costs that are basically guaranteed in retirement anyway. After 65, it works like a regular retirement account for anything at all. Only after all those buckets are full does a single dollar go into a standard taxable brokerage account. Most people never max out even the first 2. If you do, you're already in the top tier of American savers. Now you actually get to invest. And the best strategy looks so simple, it almost feels like cheating. Don't try to pick winners. Don't try to time the market. Don't let anyone sell you on an AI stock picking app. Over any 15-year period, more than 90% of professional fund managers paid millions with full research teams fail to beat a plain S&P 500 index fund. If they can't do it consistently, the odds of you doing it part-time from your phone are basically 0. What works is boring, and that's exactly why most people never get rich. A low-cost total market index fund bought automatically every month, no matter what the headlines say. You don't check it daily, you just let it compound. The only tweak most people need, the 90-10 rule. 90% into broad index funds, untouched. That's your foundation. The remaining 10%, strictly 10%, is your sandbox. Stocks, crypto, whatever. If it goes to 0, your financial life is intact. If it 10 times, great, but it never bleeds into the core. Good investing is supposed to feel boring. If it's exciting, you're probably gambling, and the market always wins that game. Last one, and nobody wants to hear it. You can execute every step on this list perfectly and still move slowly if your income stays flat. There's a ceiling on saving. There's no ceiling on earning. 20% of $50,000 is $10,000 a year. The same rate on $80,000 is $16,000. Same discipline, 60% more firepower. That's not motivation, that's math you can't escape. What single skill, genuinely mastered over the next 6 months, makes you worth significantly more at your current company or a better one? Not a side hustle, a career-level skill that raises your base income permanently, feeds into every future raise, and changes your leverage in every negotiation from here on out. 1 hour a day. Free resources exist. The discomfort of being a beginner is temporary. A flat income is not. The full sequence, one more time. Kill high-interest debt. Grab every dollar of your employer match. Build 3 months of cash. Max your tax-advantaged accounts. 401k match, Roth IRA, HSA, back to the 401k. Invest boring on purpose and never stop raising your income ceiling. Not a get-rich-quick plan, a get-wealthy-for-sure plan, if you follow the order most people ignore. If this changed how you think about money, hit subscribe.